He waited all night for his blind date, his heart pounding with every minute that passed, breath fogging in the cold air. The small cafe on the corner of Main Street had long since closed, its lights dimmed, its warmth gone. But he stayed, sitting on that snow-covered bench beneath the flickering streetlight, holding on to hope like it was something fragile he might lose if he let go. His name was Ethan, a 34-year-old software engineer who hadn't been on a real date in years. His friends had finally convinced him to try a blind date. She's kind, genuine, and needs someone real, they said. And that was enough for him to show up. The wind was biting that night in Toronto, cutting through his coat and numbing his fingers. Midnight came and went, and still, she didn't show. Snow began to fall heavier, blanketing the street in silence. Ethan stood up, brushed off his jacket, and decided to walk toward his car. But just as he turned the corner, he saw her. A woman standing near the alleyway, holding a little girl wrapped in a worn pink blanket. The woman's hair was wet from snow, her face pale and trembling. Her hands were bare, and she looked lost, both physically and emotionally. Ethan hesitated for a moment, unsure if he should approach. But something about the way she held her child, protectively, as if shielding her from the world, pulled him closer. "Are you okay?" he asked softly. The woman turned, startled, her eyes wide with worry. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to scare you," Ethan said quickly. The woman took a deep breath, tears welling up in her eyes. "You're Ethan, right?" she whispered. He froze. "Yes, are you?" She nodded. "I'm Claire, your blind date. I'm so sorry I didn't make it to the cafe. I didn't want you to see me like this." Ethan's heart clenched. She looked exhausted, her clothes thin, her daughter shivering in her arms. "What happened?" he asked gently. Claire glanced down, ashamed. "I lost my job 2 months ago. I couldn't pay rent anymore. We've been staying wherever we can, just until I find something. Tonight, the shelter was full. I was going to cancel, but I just wanted to feel normal again. To meet someone who might not judge me." The snow continued to fall, thick and silent. Ethan didn't say anything for a moment. Then he took off his gloves and gently placed them on her trembling hands. "You don't need to apologize," he said. "You came. That's what matters." Claire shook her head, tears slipping down her cheeks. "I don't want your pity." Ethan smiled softly. "It's not pity, it's kindness. And I think we could all use a little of that sometimes." He led them to his car and turned on the heat full blast. The little girl, Emily, reached for a chocolate bar he had left on the dashboard. "You can have it," Ethan said warmly. Her face lit up in a small, grateful smile that melted the heaviness in the air. They drove to a nearby diner that stayed open 24 hours. The smell of coffee and fresh pancakes filled the air. For the first time that night, Claire relaxed her shoulders. Over hot soup and warm laughter, Ethan listened to her story. She had once worked as a teacher's assistant, loved literature, and dreamed of writing children's books. But after her husband left, everything fell apart. No support, no family nearby, just her and Emily trying to survive. Ethan didn't interrupt or try to fix things, he just listened. And that was what she needed most. As the hours passed, something gentle began to grow between them. Not love, not yet, but understanding. Two people who had faced loneliness in different forms, finding warmth in each other's company on a frozen night. When morning came, the snow had stopped. The first light of dawn spilled across the diner windows, painting everything gold. Claire looked at Ethan and said quietly, "You should probably run from someone like me." Ethan smiled. "Funny thing is, I think I was waiting for someone exactly like you." He helped her find a safe place to stay that week, called a few of his contacts, and within days, Claire had an interview at a local library. Life didn't change overnight, but it began to heal, slowly, beautifully. Months later, on that same cafe corner where he had once waited alone, Ethan waited again. This time, he wasn't shivering or anxious. He was smiling. Claire arrived holding Emily's hand, both wearing new coats. They laughed as snowflakes landed on their noses. He reached out his hand to her, and she took it, steady, sure. "I guess sometimes," he said, "you have to wait through the coldest nights to find the kindest hearts." Claire smiled softly, her eyes glistening. "And sometimes, She whispered, "The person you were waiting for finds you when you least expect it." As they walked away, their footprints side by side in the snow, the streetlight above flickered one last time before turning off, as if saying the long night was finally over. The cold had passed, but what remained was warmth, real, quiet, and lasting. And in that moment, Ethan realized something simple but powerful: love doesn't always arrive dressed in perfection. Sometimes, it shows up shivering in the snow, holding a child, and asking not for rescue, but for understanding.